Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to be live again. I have to confess, I fell off for a day because we have a Secret Weapon birthday celebration going on. So it was a big lift with 4 new mini memberships we included in our main membership for free for existing members, and the whole preparation, whole funnel work, the whole work on the products was consuming me. So I fell off, but now I'm back and I'm super happy, super excited to deliver today's live training. So I was a bit dramatic about it in the title. This is the new rules for coaching success, from outdated to outstanding. So quickly, who am I that I think I can talk about this? Let me set the record straight. My name is Evelyn Weiss. I am a low-ticket coach and membership owner. So far this year, we're at 2.1 million. So I'm a multiple seven-figure online business owner, business coach with 7,133 active paying monthly members and close to $200,000 in monthly recurring revenue from that. And for some coaches that might watch this might be not enough money to give me authority in this field. But for me, considering that I'm a low ticket coach and knowing that I have a lot of people who kind of want to get to that point, I feel that I am in the position to speak to this, and I will, as always, take what is valuable for you, leave what is not for you. When I also say this is the new rules, this is rules that I have identified work really well for myself, for the kind of business that I am building. And it's your business. You can do whatever the heck you want. Okay. So this is, if you align with the way I show up, with the way I build my business, if this is kind of what you want, then you will find this video interesting and insightful. And now, without further ado, let's dive in. I brought you a couple of resources, and the first one I named From Scarcity to Abundance. Okay, so in this video, we will talk a lot about what makes certain coaches feel so, and their content and their coursework and their launches and the way they show up, what makes them feel so dated, right? And it is actually something that is also holding a lot of my members back right away from the beginning, which is the concern about giving away too much. So we will definitely talk about scarcity versus abundance, because for me, being extremely abundant and freely giving with information, it's literally why I'm here in this position. The low ticket, high value approach that I have, it's what got me there in such a short period of time. And again, if we haven't met yet, this build up was only started in 2020, so it's 2023. It went pretty rapidly and pretty fast, as you can also see here, the maturity of money I am making right now. And if you look at the year to date, you can see how that has going. And I really, really owe this success to my abundance mindset and to freely giving. So we will quickly talk about how I approach this, so you can maybe make one or the other mindset shift, because as I said, I very, very often recognize this in my members. And then I kind of summarized what I believe are the new rules if you want to be one of those coaches that kind of stays ahead of the curve, and does not feel that it is kind of not in that 2020 online coaching bucket. And I think a lot of us know exactly what I mean. And by the way, this is also not only true for business coaching. I think this is applicable for any coaching niche. Okay, so it really is about this. I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to give away so much in that freebie. I don't want to give away so much in that self-liquidating offer for $7. I don't want to give away too much in my free content. And all of that is really, really hindering your growth and ultimately how much money you make and how many lives you impact. Okay, so I want to break it down a little bit. What are the factors? So we will look at content strategy. We will look at limiting beliefs, based on a scarcity mindset, and we will talk about how I view it, what I would perceive as an abundant mindset, and how that makes a difference in me showing up and ultimately what it leads to. Okay, so for the content strategy, what I hear time and time again is, I cannot give away my best stuff in my free content. So what basically some of my members do is they withhold their premium information, like the things that people actually need to know and be aware about, and the methodologies, like for example, basically the secret sauce of how they create transformation. And what it does is it makes them create stale content, right? Less attractive content. It feels like, do you know those blog posts when you started to grow your business online that are like 15 ways to monetize your Facebook group, and you look at them and you read it and you're like, okay, I just read those 15 ways, but I have no idea what I should be doing right now. So a lot of the content that we see out there from coaches who are in the scarcity mindset is exactly this super surface level content that just feels like really, well, that was a lot of kind of words, but and it usually is born from the desire of the coach to not give away the secret sauce. Okay, so I also, one thing that I heard a lot from my members is I don't want to give away the farm. And I always tell them, if you're concerned about giving away the farm, you have not found the farm yet. So what I recommend is to shift your mindset from I can't give away my best stuff to the more I give, the more I'll attract, right? So for me, it is, I'm not holding back anything. I talk about it on my YouTube channel. I talk about it on my free channels. I am growing my memberships using self-liquidating offer funnels. I recommend that you always repurpose your monthly content into self-liquidating offer funnels. The first thing should be priced at $7. The order bump should be priced at $27. There is literally nothing about my framework that I have not set for free online, right? And it did not lead to people not buying. It led to more people buying. The effect is that if you constantly share it with your audience, more people come to you with better questions. That helps you to keep your things up to date, to understand the transformation that you offer on a much, much, much deeper level. And it also keeps your audience a lot more engaged because they feel like when I come to this person, I actually get real answers. She's not talking like around it because I need to buy the course. No, when I receive a question, I answer it, right? And I'm not concerned about holding back. There are no rules. I'm just giving freely because I know that when I give freely, I learn so much more while giving it. I can help so many more people, which allows me to really refine all my processes. And there's so much still in my brain that I haven't given away for free or in my courses just because there's not enough time in the day to share. And everything is there because I shared. Everything was generated because people came to me. I helped them. I learned how to help. I learned how to help better. I understood the nuances and everything. So it becomes this source, of solutions and insight that you develop by just freely giving, that turns you into a real expert, right? So I think when you're still concerned and you're like, there are a few critical things I do, and if I tell these people now, then I have basically retracted from my whole course. I think especially if that's you, you need to give more because there is an abundance of information and insight and secret sauce packages beneath that you're yet to discover because you shared. Okay, so the next one for me will be, just let me share. No. Why does this keep happening? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Something must be off with my mic. You can. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. I don't know why this keeps happening. It is what it is. Thank you for letting me know, guys, though. The next one is that it affects your decision making, right? So people won't pay if I give away too much for free is the kind of limiting belief. How I think about it is that free value builds trust, which leads to sales, right? And that has been so true for me. So typically what people in a scarcity mindset do is they limit what they share to kind of teasers. And the effect is that they have low conversions and low perceived value just because the people don't even understand what's in there, right? So if you think about it, it's like in a supermarket, they introduce a new, I love kimchi. I don't know if you know what that is, but I absolutely love it. And at Costco, which I also love, which we don't have in Austria, they have a new type of kimchi and they gave away free samples. I would have not switched from my typical brand if I would have not tasted that free sample, right? So if you're not giving away enough that people understand what's your flavor, what you're all about, how can they even make an educated buying decision if you're the right coach or not, right? So this is why not giving away enough harms your conversions, versus when you like, the more I share, the more I get myself out there, the more I make people understand what I am all about, what my methodologies are about, how it works from the inside, the more I report from the inside out, the more trust I build, the more conversions I see. This is something that has worked extremely well for me. Let me check my audio. Okay, perfect. Okay, next one is, that's a big one. If it's not broken, why fix it? So what I also see is there are quite a few coaches that now trickle into my programs that are like, I used to sell like crazy. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, I used to sell so much, and then after 2020 it kept declining and declining and declining, and I cannot get clients at all anymore. Like, I'm at the point where I need to really make ends meet, and I've blown up my lifestyle because things were going so well, and now I'm in a really difficult situation, and I'm coming here because I need to pivot, right? So they used to be able to sell really well, and this is why they wanted to stick to the model, but they have overlooked that they don't exist in a vacuum. So every industry, and I've been in the online industry since I was 20, which is now 13 years ago, which is an ages in the online sphere. I started in e-commerce. And I've been through all those things, like with the where you could drop ship things from AliExpress to Amazon, like really, really easily because there was nothing on there. All kinds of developments, Facebook ads. I used to get like a sale for below $1 because they were just starting, and we were just starting to run ads, and it was so affordable to do that because Facebook wanted to have clients. I've been through all those phases, and I've seen all those phases passing, because typically what happens when there's money to be made in a niche, competition increases. And what does competition do to stand out? Well, they deliver more for less, right? And what also happens is with delivering more for less is that there is some sort of professionalization happening, right? We also see this, for example, with white label products. The next step in kind of Amazon and the dropshipping thing was to do Amazon FBA, buy those products in China. And next level was to not use the products directly from AliExpress, but to order through Alibaba, a little bit of a higher premium version of that. The next level was full on white labeling. The next level after that was building a real brand for Amazon FBA, right? And now it gets more and more and more competitive. And that's a normal thing, because if there's money to be made, if there's high demand, you will have competition. And competition leads to product improvement, which is something amazing for the customer, right? But it also means that you need to keep improving to stay ahead. And in online coaching, in the online education industry, although it's growing a lot, right, there's also a lot of people streaming into it. And overall, we professionalize. That means that our products need to be better, our sales pages need to be nicer, our solutions need to be more specific, more tailored to niches. So there's still a lot of money to be made, but it's not quick grifter, easy money. It is really good product in exchange for a really good price, so the customer is satisfied. And that's just a natural, logical thing to be happening. So you can either fight with reality and say, well, I used to be able to sell this well, I want to make the same kind of money with no additional effort. Well, then that's a decision you make. But again, I think it's fighting with reality. Or you say, market professionalizes, there are more players are getting better at the thing that they do, I might want to up level my game, right? And that's when it's really, really good if you do something you're passionate about, because then it will actually be easier for you to show up. So my mindset is continual improvement keeps me ahead, and I love to update regularly and innovate regularly. And that is, for me, ultimately also giving very, very freely to my audience and building that trust and having those questions coming back. It is basically like a infinite stream of problems to solve. So my kind of market research is handled for good, and I have just this long list of things and solutions I need to create for my clients, where I have an audience to immediately sell to, because they are now used to me doing a good job, an increasingly better job at solving their problems in a way that is easy to consume for them. So for me, I have my, what product do I need to create here next? I know exactly the way in which I need to create it, the solution, because my clients tell me, because they trust me, because they keep coming back to me. And then I have my list of clients that I need to say, hey, you wanted this, it's done now, this is the price, please go here. So it is really, really amazing for me to, and easy to stay ahead, because I gave so much that I have this relationship now with my increasingly big audience, right? So instead of saying, I built this, I don't want to change it, I want to keep selling it as I did, say, well, how about I keep pouring my heart into my audience, I keep serving, I keep solving their problems, and with that I'll always have new problems to solve, I always have better models, right? It's in any other industry like that as well. Can you imagine if Apple stopped at iPhone 1? What was the first version of the iPhone? First version iPhone. Can you believe, like, if they stop? No, that's already an older version. What's the original iPhone? Can you believe if they would have stopped at this? They would not have a lot of market share left, right? Innovating and refining your product and keep listening to your audience and iterating and developing new solutions, it's a part of any big business, right? It's a thing we do as business owners in our companies. So why resist and fight the change instead of embracing it and say, by freely giving to my audience, I have this amazing market research pool and I have the customers that kind of wait for my solutions as well. Okay, let me just quickly see. Okay, I think my audio is still there. Let me go into the next one. So really make that shift, right? You're not a side hustler that created a thing once and now we can keep selling it. Think of yourself as a business owner, even like as a tech company, and just having those new iterations. Flexibility, change is risky and unnecessary versus adapting to change is essential, right? So this kind of goes hand in hand with the, I just want to keep reselling my thing as I did because it worked well. Resisting to change and clinging onto your old methods, or like webinar funnels, right? Webinar funnels can still work to a certain extent, but there was this period of time where a lot of business owners were holding on to their actually weak webinar funnels that were just working because Facebook ads prior to iOS 14 were performing like crazy. So they kept holding on to that funnel because they didn't factor in that the leads would get so much more expensive because they have seen it working, right? So I also have full understanding and empathy for that. If you have made millions with a funnel, it's really, really hard to say, I have to kill it right now and have to redo. But market conditions change, cost for advertising change, right? The topic of your course might not be as much in demand anymore because you didn't innovate. So change, unfortunately, is not always risky. Sometimes it's, especially in certain industries, it's riskier to stay the same. So for me, my mindset is adapting to change is essential, and and it is what will make me stay relevant. Community building. So for many people that are in abundance mindset, is like selling is the end goal, and they focus mainly on selling, right? Versus my mindset is a community engagement is just as valuable as sales. I have a very, very long-term perspective on that, and I know that community engagement is probably worth even more than sales because it leads to a higher customer lifetime value in the long term. Like I said, my main focus is, or like I said in previous videos, my main focus is building relationships at scale, because I think that it's the best insurance that you can ever have is if you have a ton of high quality relationships to people who see your heart, who see what you're capable of, and who trust that you serve from the right place. You will, in my opinion, never run out of opportunities to earn a great living for yourself and your family. So with how things change with AI, with how dynamic markets are, I always prioritize building relationships. And that means that I will not subtract more than I have given, because the moment in a healthy relationship where I am keep subtracting significantly more than I'm giving, that's not a balanced relationship anymore. And a healthy individual should cut that relationship with me, right? That I need to make sure it's mutually beneficial and to over deliver, to hold my customer in a value surplus over a long period of time, ideally always, because then they will never leave, right? So especially when you have a monthly recurring revenue business, which is, I think, beautiful. But it also makes you step up your game, right? Because you have to hold that customer in a value surplus. There's certain subscriptions you have that are so valuable for you that you will never cancel them, like your connection to the internet. You will not cancel, right? And if it's one of the last things that you can afford, you'll make sure that you'll afford this. Sometimes we cannot come up with a coaching offer that is such a lifeline for people. But if we keep people in a value surplus, if they always receive significantly more than they pay for, the chances of them leaving are relatively low, right? And this is what we want to do. I want to have not only my memberships, also beyond that, right? And even if a customer would cancel my membership right now because it's not a good fit for what they want to do, I want to be such a valuable point of contact for them that even if they cut the membership, they don't cut the relationship. I want to maintain the relationship, because relationships at scale, I think, are what keeps me and my family good for the rest of our life. This is what I prioritize. And if the making the sale today would cut in the relationship, and even if it would just get us closer to getting equal, I would rather not have the sale today. I'd rather delay it and keep delivering to make sure we are definitely in that balance where I'm giving a value surplus. Because again, that's my insurance for the long term. That's also what I believe long term to be the most profitable strategy. Right? And once you're at the point where you can take care of your family, either because your business is doing so well or because you're supplementing with another job, you should be able to be in that mindset, right? Get yourself in the position where you say, I don't need that sales today to pay my bills tomorrow. And there are ways to do that. There's done for you work, there's one-to-one coaching, there's supplementary jobs you can take to hold yourself over water. But for me, it's crucial that I try to ensure that I'm always showing up from the right place in any relationship, because there's also not many chances to repair that. Okay, so quickly checking my audio. And a comment: innovation and marketing is all there is in business. Everything else is overhead. Peter Trekker. I love that. That's a very good one. I'll leave that up as I dive in a little bit further, or I just want to make sure you can still see me. So thank you for sharing that, though. Collaborations and partnerships. Others are competitors, not allies. So many people also, because of that, avoid partnerships, and that limits their growth and reach, right? If I would have, when Jessa was a student of Coaching Mini Membership Method, and she came out with her Course Creator Society, I had Coach Growth Hub, and she came out with Course Creator Society. Coach Growth Hub was also for course creators, right? If I would have seen her as competition in that point, we would have not built a beautiful business together, and we would have not started this business partnership that elevated both of us to the next level if I would have seen her as a competition. So of course you have competitors, and you have people that might not, because with a partnership in business, right, you need to kind of meet yourself at an eye level. You might have those people, and you might not want to, further get into business with them. But the thing that I'm kind of critically questioning here is everyone a competitor? Is everyone who does something similar to you a competitor? I had a one-to-one coaching call with a client, and they said, well, they were doing a challenge, and I said, download the videos from the challenge, upload them to your YouTube, send them to your list over the weekend, and let them know that during the weekend they can watch the replays for free on your YouTube channel. Reduce the friction to receive value. And then they were like, but then they're not asking to join the group. And I was like, yeah, but that's okay, because you still have them on your email list, and that way you can ensure that you remove steps like requesting to join your group from them to be able to see what you did there and to receive the value from you. And then they were like, yeah, but I also know that there's some competitors of mine. So what if there's a competitor on my list and then they don't join the group, and then a competitor sees the content? And I was like, that's completely irrelevant. Do you know how many people I have that I could perceive as competitors that ultimately are just client of mine? So not everyone that does the same as you is a competitor, right? And sometimes a competitor of yours can become a client. Of course, there are things like IP and some shady things where you have to draw the line, but in general, people are allies, not competitors. So for me, there is enough for everyone. We can all grow. You would want to collaborate with industry expert, and the level of value alignment should determine the level of joint venture. So if you're interested in more training around joint venture in Coach Growth Hub, I recently redid a training on joint ventures, and that also comes with perspectives, checklist, etc. So in here, Nurture Grow joint ventures, and you can also look for joint venture partnerships in the Coach Growth Hub as well, and there's a guide on how to do that. Okay, and then last one, transparency and authenticity. Many people might think that transparency makes them vulnerable, and I think transparency makes me relatable and trustworthy. So unfortunately, many coaches kind of keep their trade secrets, right? How much, I think if you're a business coach, like all of those numbers, you should be like, yep, those are my numbers this, and this is my numbers this month. If you're teaching business coaching, I personally think you should be transparent about your numbers. Obviously, it's my personal take on it. You can do whatever you want, but I think that being transparent about your numbers, not only about your wins, but also about your failures, it makes you relatable, it makes you trustworthy, you build an authentic brand. And if you don't do that, you'll be less authentic and there will be lower trust with the audience. It's just natural, right? So to kind of summarize and drive that home, for me, the new rules for the coaching industry, and again, these are my rules. This is what I'd recommend to you. You make your own rules. Free value is the new first impression. So instead of withholding your best content, make it freely accessible. It serves as the front door to your brand and is the best way to attract a committed and appreciative audience. There's nothing that you can't say in your free content. Even if you spill the beans in your free content, people will buy. I can guarantee you, people will buy, more so from my perspective, if you are free and giving. Transparency is the new currency. Be open about your methods, your success, your failures. That builds trust. Community over customers. That's a big one, and that's a big shift. Building a community isn't a byproduct of your business. It is a critical asset for building your business. Engage, listen, and grow your community and give to your community, even if they're not paying for now. And some of them never will, right? But they still contributed to your community by asking those questions, by engaging with others, by showing up, right? Also, don't hold a crutch for people against people who don't buy, right? Might not be a good fit for them. That's completely fine. I appreciate somebody who is just watching this. You're giving me your time. That's the most valuable thing you have. I appreciate that, even if you never buy something from me at any point. Okay? Innovation over stagnation. The coaching industry is ever changing. The new rule is simple: innovate or be left behind. I truly believe in this. I see this. I'm witnessing conversations in my memberships about this. If people are noticing, if you're releasing the same course year after year, there is so much free ideal client worksheets and stuff out there online, right? If that's the main thing, like you cover in your course, and you think like that's the number one thing, that the secret sauce, again, I think you might have not found the farm yet. And there's a real thing about outgrowing people who are at the beginning of their journey. I understand that, but there's also such a thing as now things that used to be exclusively available in courses are out there for free on YouTube, right? So if everything that's in your course has already been set out there for free on YouTube, you might want to go out there and serve more and enhance what is in your course, because you give more, because you learn more and deeper, and you can enrich the experience in your course or membership. It's just how it is. I'm sure the people who sold little trinkets from AliExpress with a 300% markup on Amazon were also disappointed once that didn't work anymore. But that's life, right? They're people who are willing to go the extra mile, so let's not let them outrun you. Adaptability is a non-negotiable. Okay, so it's online coaching field is rapidly evolving, and being flexible and adaptable is necessary these days, especially now also with AI, which accelerates it even more. Collaboration over competition, we just talked about this. Sales are the result, not the goal. Sales happen organically and naturally when you offer great content, build a community, and maintain transparency. Focus on those things and sales will follow. Abundance over scarcity. There's enough room for everyone to succeed. customer experience above all. From your content quality to your community engagement, everything should be aimed at delivering the best experience for your audience, for your customers, and customer lifetime value over quick win. So the new rule is really focused on long-term customer lifetime value, not quick sales. The goal is to have our customers in that mindset of, they're very loyal iPhone customers that are like, no matter what new iPhone comes out, I want to have it because I'm an Apple user for life, right? So you would want to get to the position where people are like, no matter what she's offering, like, I jump on it because I already know that it will be good. Yes, they are already shared, love. They already shared, linked below the cheat sheet. So now I also want to get a little bit practical for you. So, okay, now we established we're just not holding back. We're just giving everything away for free. So how is now your course or membership or program actually different from what you put out on your YouTube channel, right? So what does that practically look like? So for example, so I just let you know exactly how I think about it. I perceive myself as being on a growth journey. So there is this vision of myself that I have as an expert, as a human being, as a mother, etc. in the future. So I have this version of myself that I am working towards, right? So this is the kind of highest version of myself. This is the best way in which I can show up. And I perceive myself as a growth journey towards this person, right? So I'm every single day, I am committed to grow as a mother, as a partner, as a human being, as a coach. And what I'm sharing with my audience in my free content is the insights and learnings that I'm having on this growth journey. So for example, the background of making this video today was previously to this video, I was on one of our weekly coaching calls in Coaching Mini Membership Method, and I talked about a free offer with someone, and I talked about how to really make sure that it's delivering a lot of value and that you should not be concerned about giving too much. So I realized that yes, this is a pattern that comes up again and again, and I have already conceptualized it many times in my free content, and I have written emails about it, but maybe I need to present it in a more cohesive, more bolder format, right? So let me make a video about it. This is how this idea was born. It was a direct insight from something I had today. And now I'm like, okay, it might be worth for my audience if I conceptualize that in a better way and I share it with them. So it's coming from my growth journey. It's coming from an experience that I make in my business, from a learning and insight. Another aha moment that I had that, okay, people are still like really struggling with this, but this is why I'm now making this free content. Does it fit anywhere into my paid programs? It fits everywhere and nowhere, right? It's really, really relevant because how you execute the things that I teach matters just as much as the steps that you do, right? The way that you create a lead magnet is just as important as how you create the lead magnet or that front end product or that $7 membership. Knowing what I shared with you today will allow you to create it in a different way, because now you're not concerned about holding back. Now you're like, how can I make this as valuable as possible? They came to me with a problem. How can I solve that problem for them? So it will change the way you do the thing, right? So this is why it kind of fits everywhere. And at the same time, it fits nowhere, because if I stuff all of those learnings and small insights into the course, it will just completely overwhelm people, right? So, and this is how I'm kind of having my free content is, as I'm encountering a learning on my journey, and there are learnings every single day if you pay attention, I'm conceptualizing quickly, right? This is roughly scripted. I'm quickly capturing all the thoughts that I'm having, and I'm getting them out to my audience, right? So this is a typical example for how I'm going about my free content. My paid content, it's a very structured step by step breakdown, which I'm starting with the after, reverse engineering the main steps to bridge it, and then breaking it down further. So I'm basically like, if the transformation is a big carrot, I'm like, where's the top, where's the bottom? Okay, this is how I need to lay it out. Now let me cut down bigger chunks, and now let me slice it like really, really thinly, so people have the step by step how they do it. That's what's typically in my paid programs, alongside with a strong, engaged, supportive community, alongside with access to me to ask specific questions in a Q&A or a group coaching call, alongside with free access to those new solutions that I'm creating to repurpose on the front end as well, right? So it's a different container. It's a different quality of access to the materials. It's a different quality of access to me. And it's a different level of commitment that have people towards me, right? But that doesn't mean that I cannot share on my YouTube channel a concept that I'm teaching in the memberships, like what I said, for example, today about the self-liquidating offers. And there's videos that talk specifically about that, right? So your paid containers are different because they are structured really, really well towards the transformation that you offer within the container. Within the structure, you took off the creative burden of what, first you took off the cognitive labor of structuring the journey, then you took off the creative burden of what needs to happen at each step, and then you shared from your own genuine experience the insightfulness of what does it feel to be there, what are the challenges that will be there, so you can really guide people through it. So it's a very streamlined journey, right, that is actually enhanced by you just documenting your growth as you go along on your free channels, because those members of yours that are not already overwhelmed with the very streamlined path, they would want to tune into more of you. They would want to listen to the things that you have to say beyond that, because they want to learn how does she think about that? How does she approach those things, right? Because they know that it will accelerate their path. And for the other members that are already kind of overwhelmed, it's there for them to consume whenever they feel ready, or whenever they want a different inspiration spark because they need a break from the curriculum, right? So this is kind of how I differentiate it out, and it works really, really well for me and really well for most of my members as well. Your testament to practicing what you preach. I'm happy I found you both as an admirer and a client. You continuously push me to be a person. Thank you for sharing your experience and insight. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. And you'll also see it's so rewarding for yourself, because then, for me, I said in a recent email, and I mean that, with my communities, free and paid, I created a new home for myself online. There are people who think alike, who dream alike, who look, my bubble, right, in Austria and even here in Canada, it's relatively small. I love my family, I have a few friends, but as you progress through life and you're in this phase of actualizing who you want to become, there might not be many friends that go kind of down the same route, right? And you will desire and crave to be with people who are in the same mindset, who want more out of life, who strive to be a better version of themselves. And with my communities, I'm constantly surrounded by that, right? It fuels me and it fulfills me. And would I sit down and journal and write down my thoughts every day if it wasn't for me to present it to my community? Honestly, probably not, right? There is the reward of getting out there, of having interaction, of feeling like I contributed something, that also drives me to do this. So it's this positive reinforcing cycle. I'm becoming a better person as well, because I have to show up for you guys, right? Or I have made the commitment to do that. So it also is a really beautiful layer of accountability for me. And I don't think if I was just sitting in that bubble, or even if I was to work with a few clients, that I would do so much reflection and internal work and work around my methodologies if it wasn't for the purpose of really, really serving my audience to my highest level. So thank you. Just got it's pumpkin spice season. So this is my first pumpkin spice latte for the year, and I know this is totally cliche, but it makes me so happy. And I just got that. Okay, you guys, so I hope this clarified it a little bit. You will see that how much there is inside of you, how much you can channel, how much you can create for people like once they need it. And it's such a beautiful feeling to be in demand as well. And that's exactly what happens when you have your memberships and when you show up for your audience. And again, it's, for me as a person with so much anxiety and also sometimes around the future, right? I try to discipline myself to not see things in a bad way. For me, this makes me feel so safe and so secure, because I know I have so many options. I have built so many meaningful connections. So no matter what happens, and that's also something I have to tell you, I've been at this point, right? So I had my little bubble, I had my business as head of marketing and sales. I had my position in a company, a head of marketing and sales. I had my small company where I would do websites and social media marketing and run ads for people, so I would earn quite good. And then I had one of those projects taking off where we would become a vendor for Amazon in Europe, and we made 12 million in sales in 9 months. And it was like growing really quickly. I eventually quit my job in there and built a team, and I was driving. I was so like I was making money. I was so excited. It was a completely new level. And then from one day to the other, the company decided to not work with us anymore. So basically, we shut down the operation. We had to let go of the people. And I had no contacts. I had no email list. I had built nothing up for myself, no personal brand, etc. I let go of all my agency clients. They were not there. I turned down every referral I got from word of mouth. I had quit my job. So yes, there were some savings, but basically there was a reset to ground zero. And the way I have built my business this time, I have 7,000 paying monthly members. I have an email list of over 40,000 people. I have my YouTube channel. I have my Instagram. I have so many meaningful connections. So I'm standing on so many legs this time that I think I will never have to go back to this place again. And this is also how I wish for you guys to build your businesses. I want you to build something that, you can scale things quickly, but I want you to have something for the long term. I want you to be done with it. Like, I want you to be done with having to worry about if it will last and if you will last and if you will be able to make it and make it for your family. Okay, so it's so valuable to have like-minded people because finding them in my surroundings in Vienna, Lower Austria, and Austria is almost not possible, and it's really vital to be able to grow. Oh, so you're from the kind of same region. It's very difficult, right? It's so small, guys. If you don't know Austria, it's really small villages. Like, I can show you the fountain. I show you my fountain in my village in Austria. Let me see if I can find a picture. Stuff. Okay, so I show you what it looks like there. Where I live when I live in Austria. This is the famous fountain. This was when the fountain was opened. This was the news that there is a new fountain in town. See? There was an interview for the new fountain thingy. Okay, this is where I'm from. There are not many people that want to talk with you about funnels. So this is my lifeline. And Christine is also from Austria. She'll understand. It's like really, really small towns. And it's, really, really, really small communities as well. And I'm very grateful. This is my home as well, right? But it's very difficult to find people that are on the same wavelength in sense of like building a multiple 7-figure online business through funnels and Facebook ads. Like, try finding somebody who is interested in talking with you about that over coffee. It's not. Yeah, even Vienna, you're right. Even Vienna is not as much. I attended a few like startup meetings in Vienna, but it's also, and Austria's, Europe in general also, the conversations are a few years behind compared to US and Canada. We just have to say that. There are a few pioneers for sure, right? But the conversations are typically like just a little bit behind. So it's really critical for us to also be connected and up to date. And I don't know the situation, how it's in US and how many people are there in your surrounding areas. I know that there are some areas where there are a lot of online entrepreneurs, but there are also many areas where it's probably not the case, and where these online communities are vital for you to connect and talk about the things you're passionate about and that really, really matter to you. And sometimes we even can't with our partners, right? So it's really critical, or our families, my family did not understand, like, at all. My families thought for the first venture I did, they thought I went bankrupt, which is literally not the case. We went out with a profit. We just had to shut down the operation, but they think I went bankrupt. And that's like a huge stigma as well, although it's not true. And so they wouldn't understand, and they wouldn't understand my online business for a long time. They were thinking like I'm making a fool of myself, I'm embarrassing the family, like, because I did my reels. So my communities were the only people who got me. I spent a long time building a strong foundation and excited to grow. Thank you for being so transparent and sharing your inspiring story. Your rules rock and the abundance mindset feels so liberating to me. Thank you. It's also liberating if you don't have to think about it anymore, right? So you can say I can just share and I don't have to hold anything back. And for me personally, and for the people, Jess is the same, right? She also follows the lead as well with her communities, and for her it also worked really well. So it pays off to be generous, and it's more fun too. Okay, I leave you with that. I'm going for my coffee. I wish you an absolutely wonderful weekend, and we will be live. Jess and I will be live on Sunday and on Monday. On Sunday, we will be teaching. We will take few free products from our new PLR membership, and we will reskin them with you. I'm actually not sure if we take one or free, so I need to correct that. We just have a voting going on, which ones we should do. And on Monday, we do a live Q&A. So there we will be live again. I'll also try to make it happen tomorrow. Cheers, and see you then. Bye. Thank you.